Hello everyone, Brian Jennings here. This channel exists to process my complicated relationship, my pathological relationship with Quentin Tarantino. I'm the reason that Quentin canceled the movie Critic last April, and we have been embroiled in what has now become a legendary psychic siege for going on 2 years. I've been making these videos every day, typically one a day, sometimes two a day. This is my second one today. And it's nice to see people engaging, right? Got some good comments, funny, sarcastic, like I get it, sarcasm, like I get it. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. I get it. How many bodies do you have in your basement and all these? It's funny. It's a funny comment. I appreciate all engagement. The one guy said, "Oh, if this is, if this is to get the role, then he should get the role. But if it's just an act, then it's next level viral marketing." Because I'm not really talking about the movies a lot, and that's a funny observation too. Didn't make it up. Don't I'm not smart enough, right? Another guy said, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Like he should have hired him. They would have done great things together." And that was nice to share, for sure, for him to see what I've always seen, which is why I wrote. And to be clear, right? If I knew that it was going to degenerate into a fucked up mind game, I never would have written, "No, you're good. It's fine. It's fine. You just do what you do." I don't judge you, but no, I'm not interested in psychic mind violation, right? Sam Jackson can keep it, right? But now it's done. Now it's done, right? Like me and him, beyond space and time, right? That this is a real celestial siege that we're in the middle of now, right? And so, just to take a second, because I have a different framing here, I'll talk about my celestial vision board and say that everything that you see here was constructed with either a drafting compass and a ruler or by my hand, freehand, right? That this is, right? That everything that you see here and some of the things that you can't see, right, are all magical talismans of power, right? What I'll say is, if we start at the bottom, here we have 8 golden mean spirals. It's 4 sets of 2, right? It's 4 pairs. Right, that what you see, right, when you construct this, right, I didn't know what I was doing, it just kind of manifested accordingly, right, is that the one leads into the other, right, that this one is connected to this one, right, and to this one, right, it's connected to this one, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right, so it's 4 pairs of 2, like this. Right? And so what does that mean? What is that, like there's something there regarding, right, molecular spacing of structure, right? Delineation of molecular and atomic structure, right? Not in any other books, right? Subdivision of 11, right? Doubled 7 times, 11, or doubled 4 times, pardon me. It's 11 times 8. It's 88 subdivisions, right? But it went 11, 22, 44, 88, right? That's right. And so this is 8 11 pointed stars where you skip 3, I believe, skip 4, and then you draw a line. Right? This is 29 arcs. Don't ask me how I got that. I have no idea how I got there. That's the Rhapsody of Magic. Of course, on the other side of it is Ezekiel's wheel, right, which is becoming a painting right here, just that frame. Right, so 22, right, it's a subdivision into 11, right, with a circle drawn in the middle of it to give you 22, right, which is 22. 22 letters, right, 22 foundational letters, 10 Sephiroth out of nothing, right, which is this painting right here that is just out of frame too. So over here, of course, Ari Emanuel, right, with Moloch, Lamed Mem, Lamed Resh, right? Right? This is the first iteration of the geometric diagram of Atlantis, right? Right? So Poseidon and Cleito had 10 sons, 5 sets of twins, right? And so there's a decagon in the middle, right, with 10 pentagons, 10 pentagrams, 20 pentagons, right? And so it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, etc., etc., etc. Right? The geometer's nightmare, according to John Michel. Right? Of course, Levi, right? Levi's pen and ink drawing with Baphomet's is a master's copy, right? It's a little ugly. It's my first dry point etching, right? But it's right. The etching is good. I just got to get better at like cleaning the surface, right? And so this is the 59 stellations of the icosahedron. Each side of the triangle is subdivided by the golden mean, right? And then they're connected in a particular way. Each of these lines, each of these points has 4 lines emanating out from it, and it gives you this pattern right here specifically. Right? Dodecahedron inside of icosahedron, right? With compounded 5 cubes, which gives you the pentagrams on each of the pentagonal faces, right? And this construction derives from Robert Lawler, right? Sacred Geometry, its philosophy and practice. Right? Self-drawing, right? Study of the hand. I don't know if you can see that one. Yeah, that one's maybe a little out of frame. But if we go up here, right? This is the cubic wave field, which is in my video on Russellian science, right? This is a still life, right, of the living room. It's on the other side of this wall, right? 5 golden mean spirals, right? Distributed through 7 ellipses. So there's 5 spirals going up and 5 spirals going down, right? And this is the center, right? It's divided into 5. Each of the ellipses is divided into 5, which is a circle in perspective, right? Right, so this is a compound of 16 equilateral triangles, right? 48 subdivisions of the circle, right? The New Jerusalem, right? Right, 28 subdivisions, right? 7, 12, 28, right? The new cosmography, right? Just out of frame is a nice starfish, right? If Anastasio ever premieres a song about starfish arms, or Solomon's Temple, it came from me. I wrote Fish about reconciling with Quentin. Right? And of course, he threw me under the bus immediately, it's obvious. And while I don't know that, I know that. Because, right, they respect their fans, right? Quentin doesn't respect anything but power, but satanic occultism, right? Which, right? Oh, don't forget the ineffable, right? In the Great Pyramid, Yod Vohe, the Tetragrammaton, right? Right? But my point regarding Fish, right, is that if it was just me, right, if Quentin wasn't involved, right, if it was just me barking at the moon, right, saying, oh, show me the letters that involve me, right? If the answer to that query was just the 5 letters that I sent Fish, right, then they would send them to me and say, we're sorry you're not well. We're sorry you're struggling. Right? You're always welcome at our shows. We love you. Thank you for supporting us. Right? Right? But, of course, that hasn't occurred. Therefore, Quentin has slandered me to them and the Discovery Institute. So I've written a novelization of my experiences, right? It's called Building a Coven, right? Which is what has to occur, right? If this thing remains occulted and he keeps his arms crossed and says, no, I'm famous, I'm not spending any time with this guy, right? Then even if and when he pays me, right? Because he's wanted me to sue since April. And I'm trying. I'm trying to give him everything that he wants, you know? But it's not easy when you have no resources, right? But if it gets all the way to when he's getting his Vanguard award, right, at the end of September, and when he kicks off his movie at the end of December, which is the same movie, right, which has my intellectual property in it, right, then he's going to pay people to make my life miserable because he's a base, weird guy, right? And so that's why this channel exists, right? That's why I wrote the novel, right? That's why we're talking about it, right? So, right, this is my point when I say like, comment, subscribe, share. That every time we talk about it, every time we bring it into the forefront, right, we hold someone accountable for their deplorable behavior, right? Fame is not an excuse to be evil, right? right? That if he, my point being that he's not actually cool, right? That I no longer, right? Tribeca, this bullshit. It's bullshit. If he, right, was actually cool, right, when I blew it, he would have wrote me a single letter. He never had to meet me, never had to spend any time with me, and said, "This is how I make my movies. You opted out, right? You wanna not give me what I want, so, right? Here's a check for your scene. You sign this non-disclosure agreement and go fuck off anywhere else." And that would have been perfectly reasonable, right? I would have signed it, right? And kept my mouth shut. Right? Instead, he would rather enter into this, ridiculous campaign, right, to try to overwhelm my mind, right? And now that he's failed, right, he's stolen my wisdom, right? And he is evil, right? His evil is hovering over me very heavy today. After I posted my first video, right? It's real dangerous, right? That he does whatever he wants, right? He has no reverence for his children. Right? He doesn't respect any of the blessings he's received in life. Right? That's my point. That's my point. That if he was a cool guy, he would have looked at that divine goddess that is Daniela, right? And said, "No, I have you. I have my children. I have a beautiful family. I have a beautiful life." Right? I gave him a chance, and he didn't play the game by my rules. Right? And that would have been, right? What can I say? Right, but now it's degenerated, right? And William Morris Endeavor has insulated and protected him, right? God damn it. Right? Not only them, right? Fish, the Discovery Institute, David Mamet, Paul Schrader, Martin Scorsese, right? Oh, you think that he would still be doing any of these things if he had all those people looking to him saying, right, "We're going to denounce you publicly if you continue in this way." Right? Therefore, right, they all support his evil. Right? They all say, "Oh, well, that's our Quentin." Just like everyone said about Brad when he got his Oscar for beating up his wife. That's our Brad. He smacks up his women, but he's a damn fine actor, ain't he? Right? And I don't care about that. Right? I don't fault him for writing a story. Right? That's his best film, 100%. Right? But my point, right, is that I'm allowed to live however the fuck I want to live. Right? I don't have to kiss Quentin Tarantino's ass. Right? I've spent so much time feeling sorry, saying, "Oh gosh, I blew it." And God, what can I do? Right? Abandon my job, right? Abandoned my vehicle, all of my worldly possessions, right? Lived on the street for a whole season, right? Right? All the while, he's living in his mansion, going, "Ha, ha, 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 what a fucking jackass. This guy thinks that I love him. This guy thinks that I have a daughter that's in love with him, right? This guy thinks my daughter's a fucking skank who gets pissed on. Pretty funny." Right? To which I say, it's just sad and weird now. It's just weird. There's nothing interesting about what's occurring now. And so we're talking about it, right? Because he's descended into evil and it's hovering over me, right? And he's as evil as he wants to be forever. He's a sick degenerate, right? Right? I can't stress that enough. Cannot stress that enough, right? That he's like getting something out of this, right? Because I didn't give him what he wanted. Right? And again, he's a fucking pussy, right? If I put this evil on him, he'll send people to murder me. That's it. That's it. Right? What has Sam Jackson got to say about it? What's Brad Pitt got to say about it? Right? Why don't any of you motherfuckers ask him to treat you like he treats me? Right? Leo DiCaprio. Right? Uma Thurman. Right? No such thing as a female troupe in Quentin Tarantino's films. Uma Thurman's the only one. All of the women that are in the first Kill Bill are not in the second Kill Bill, with the exception of Uma Thurman. What does that tell you? Right? Right? He could have just been cool, right? He could have just said, "No, you blew it, right? You're cool, you're a badass guy. I see the light in those letters. You knew what time it was. right? But he wanted to say, no, I have to control the mind of every actor in the world, right? If he doesn't bend his mind to me, I'll use my mind to destroy him. That's it, right? There's no other way to interpret it, right? He doesn't expect this to persist for 20 years. It's a sick pathological psychology in both of our minds. So I'm going to pick up where I left off with the novel, and then we'll go from there. Building a coven. I got to eat a burrito courtesy of retarded Alan. Took some kratom. I'm craving a soda and a cig. Had a cig earlier. No soda since I walked through central LA to Union Station from LAX, going on 48 hours ago. Maybe 72. 2 nights ago. It was the first thing I had eaten in some time, 36 hours at least. Last night was spent in the Phoenix Greyhound Station, and 2 nights ago I slept on the street near Union Station, downtown LA. That day I ate substantially, so 3 days ago, but closer to 50 hours. Vegetarian burrito filled primarily with potatoes and I don't know what. It worked. I feel something. Little girls plus fake theatrical sneezing equals misery upon introspection of self. She despises the depths of my intellect, so much so she would rather maintain the crudest existence and destroy everything we built. So fucking pointless. She knows I would have and still intend to hold her to the highest ethical standards. Anything less is foolhardy and naive. I suppose a part of her thought she was ready to no longer be naive. However, she has shown us her ignorance, and bland banality knows no bound. Indeed, has no limit. We still don't know the repercussions. Only God can. Waiting in line for the bus on which I am seated as before, a humorous scene unfolded. They announced our bus's return, and the line got way too big, say 2 times too big. And the lady on the loudspeaker started haranguing us, talking about, ain't no way all these people getting on the same bus to Dallas. There's 2 buses to Dallas. And the ghetto black woman I was talking shit about earlier, who I kind of like now, I asked her about her teacup chihuahua and she called me baby. Started calculating, talking about, this our bus. I remember this lady, this dude, this lady, just saying, you better get on this bus. And we all chattered in agreement, if somber and ecstatic by the uncertainty. But in line also on the bus now, another beautiful witch, giving me the intrigue. I think I want you to fuck me, My heart broke. I said nothing. Clady cries. After I comment to Alan about how now I have a really strong left and right forearm. The left from playing guitar, the right from writing. How it's true it takes more muscle to hold the notes down. Full spectrum artistic conditioning. I need only paint and sculpt myself into delirium now. Patience. First, this year of excellence. But if I'm safe somewhere, I'd have more time. Willow is hormonal and full of shit. She doesn't understand love because it's easy. And while she is easy, no one would suggest otherwise. She made it difficult because she doesn't love anything, least of all me. I tried closing my eyes and was plagued by visions of corrupted wombs. Alistair continually assures me everything is fine, to which I said, she's fucking somebody. To which he said, maybe so. And now she is questioning everything. She knows, they know, rather. I'll haunt that bitch forever with my power. She's cussing at me as she drives home and about how I see everything. She did it to herself. Lisa tells me she'll make me whole and not to worry about Willow, which I appreciate. It is a loving thought. Listening to Paul Schofield's Hamlet in the West Texas desert clay tells me it's going down. You're coming here to New York to play Hamlet, then going back to Los Angeles to play the journalist. You got all these women needing you. Everything is good. I'm assured. And now the dog barks at the luggage underneath. Border Patrol. There's a bunch of them, maybe 6 I can see. They don't appear to be removing bags or searching them, but the multitude of heartbeats behind Kevlar suggests something is about to occur. They're letting the dog into the luggage carriage. We're back on the road. Nothing happened. It is its own peculiar ritual. Guess no one's hauling dope via Greyhound today. This Greyhound, I mean to say. But everyone's excited. The black guy in front of Alan threatened to kill anyone in seconds on this bus who touches him. Maybe he asked him something. I don't know why he's so upset, beyond the obvious that these are the dregs of society. It's the same guy who told that retarded black hobo who smells like death that he's on the wrong bus, and he argued bewildered for 2 minutes before I asked where his seat was, and pointed to the open seat he was standing next to. Would he have sarcastically pushed him back onto the street? Let's ask Alistair's daughter how she treats the less fortunate, and I'm sure she'll give an equally selfish, small-minded answer. She assures me she's more than a whore, to which I reply, only in thought, not in action. As Schofield's Hamlet's father's ghost decries his murder, my window faces east in the afternoon golden hour, and I am reminded of Goethe's color wheel, that there are in fact 6 primary colors, not 3, 2 sets of 3, always visible on opposite sides of the horizon, and the hillside the road is carved out of gives us a nice view of both. Now darkness takes complete control, the spectrum has collapsed once more. The most magical area must be somewhere where golden hour occurs on any or both of the solstices or equinoxes at 12:36. Perhaps Alaska, Siberia, the tail of South America, Antarctica. These are the places to cast your spells and hold your ritual. The golden hour at the perfect minute. Epic, celestial, unrivaled excellence. And if properly cast, the affect will be exorbitant and effected instantly. Though the ramifications may be wide, as with Willow's disregard for my curse, a naive, foolish, devilish decision which she understands is doomed to haunt her psyche forever. As I listen to, "Oh, all you host of heaven," Q claims, I really am as good as any of those guys. Alistair assures her I'm better, and have never been more ready. That we have to put some miles between him, he means me, and my daughter. So you guys help him play Hamlet now, and after he can come back once everything is settled down. Alan mentioned to his phone call that they have 1 minute, which makes me think his baby moms gave birth incarcerated. Maybe she did. Now this guy right in front of Alan mentions killing again as people walk by him. Black, likely incarcerated most of his life till now. He laments how if you kill someone they give you 80 years. Though I feel like 20 or 25 is the most they give you the first time. Seems telling, his phrasing. Maybe he's just a fucking douchebag. The darkness now reigns. I write my false light overhead. I try to relax. It is 7 p.m., thereabouts. Clay, as we all weep, reminds me how much they all care about me, about how I brought them all up, that I wrote because I know I have something to offer and that they all see it. So I go there, play Hamlet, then come back for the movie, and that he's sure me and Willow were reconciled. They all are. She comments on how I broke her down. Her stepmother tries to help her see it is a blessing she got by her wickedness, and her father extols how it is all there. The amount I love all of God's creatures is so high to begin with, that when Willow tried to fraudulently play that game with me, her wickedness has been swallowed by my sincerity, my love. This is what she said she wanted, and while I oft consider throwing her away, it is true we pushed the frontiers of communion, and now we're forever connected, whether either of us like it or not. Now I don't like it. I wish I could throw the whore pregnant guppy back into the lake. Alas. Again, I am drowned in love across both coasts. They, Clay, telling me I've written enough, that I can relax. It is enough for today, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 words. But the bombardment compels the pen, perhaps the kratom, which I just took my last dose of for the day. Maybe too much, in truth. It is my pathology. I have to write all the time. Alistair tells me he really thought she wanted to love me like I tried to love her. And still will, he says. He says that it seemed like I was the one that got away to her. So he set her loose on me because he knew I was an interesting guy, however bad I blew it. And that now it has degenerated to this, but that we have this chance to build it back better and stronger this year. Annabella reminds me that it was me who put it all together, and it is as legendary as anything possibly can be. We took a half hour here at Pecos. Alan gave me an egg roll, and I lament calling him retarded, even if accurate. He's all heart, I can tell, just like me. Earlier, riding outside of Pecos, and here seeing stripes brings back Alpine. I feel that I have been here before, though I thought it was Midland. But knowing we are in Pecos, I now doubt I have been here specifically. But the smell of H2S was another potent reminder. Nostalgia. The other retarded black man, whose stench requires 10 feet for appropriate ventilation, mentioned One Piece, and we had a nice moment of mutual remembrance. He is rewatching and is more current in the series than I am. He is totally caught up. Simultaneously, the violent black man moves seats closer to the front of the bus and is getting into an argument with the other black girl I mentioned earlier with the teacup and the baby. It wasn't truncated. She won. It was unnecessarily loud. He is not well. A violent psyche bent towards violence. Again bombarded. Alistair is moved to being emotional by my writing and relays the plan once more to build it up better and stronger. And I see it. I do. I'm trying to relax. The uncertainty of it all is all-consuming. It is now 3:19, the witching hour, when churchyards yawn. I am 4 minutes late to the Dallas bus stop, 30 minutes from the Fort Worth stop, which I arrived at, me and this basket full of deplorables. So now upon arrival, I have a strong suspicion I will be subjected to another 5-hour layover. Sigh. 5:23 a.m. in the Dallas Greyhound. Real grimy. My friend I referenced earlier, real name Glint, not Cameron, finally broke the ice, and we had our nice trip down memory lane. He hooked me up with half a Subutex. I snorted a little quarter. All of this, I should mention, being after I walked up the way to the nearest 7-Eleven and dumped $30 of my food stamps on not nearly enough sustenance. Though I got my coffee double shots energy drink, and I'm flying, so to speak. I told him everything I could without betraying all the people who have come to mean so much to me. And even now, Willow thanks me for not calling her a whore and using this rare instance of camaraderie, companion, and friendship to denigrate her in the same way she has denigrated me, namely, to anyone who will listen. She assures me she won't anymore, though only a fool would believe anything she tells them at this point. So I hold that certainty in my heart as I remind her that I loved her madly, and that you're welcome. Revelation so often washes over the initiate at these evil hypnagogic hours twixt midnight and sunrise. Last night was no exception. Sleeping poor in mine orchard, at around 10:30, perhaps midnight, I had visions of ecstasy. Willow, upon closing my eyes, was seen flipping me off. She expressed her weakness and resentment towards me, whereby I closed my eyes once again and screamed, "I have the right to close my eyes, you bitch, and I'll scream at you forever because I don't have to breathe, you fucking whore." Wherein I was given a vision of change, and my only true nature, the best part of me, compelled me to stop. Alistair saw it too, and pleaded for me to be calm, asking me, "You understand better?" And I did. I do. The curse has put me into occult control of Willow's womb, and if I rage hard enough with enough sincere devotion, I can destroy her as well as that hideous cyclops growing inside of her. Now she assures me she'll never be cruel to me again. She betrayed the idea of love, as espoused by Diotima for selfishness, and in so doing sealed our psychic bond absolute. While I would like to allege I have this boundless, unconditional, Christ-like love in my heart, every time I am plagued by insights into her wicked, adulterous ways, I know that I'll fly into a rage until all I can see is her demise. She abused love, and now it hovers over her body and soul as a cataclysmic anvil, which, like the kaleidoscope or Empyrean, I cannot truly control it, only be aware and adjust my motivations. I am a man, and she is a woman, and I believed her honest, and she betrayed all that beauty we built together, demolished this crystal palace we built as our psychic sanctuary. And she sits aloof in her illustrious ivory tower of Babel with Alistair and the Queen Mother. When considering how corrupted, evil, and tedious she has made everything, I am inclined to continue cursing her every part. Inclined to continue cursing every part of her, to balance the scales and take back my heart and mind. Around the same time, bleeding into thereafter, as Willow played Alice Locke's I Keep on Falling, that one mediocre song from 20 years ago, another vision. I asked her, Willow, if she was fucking someone. When I was asked what I saw, I told the truth. I saw someone sucking dick. And when both witches assured me they were at home, someone, I forget who specifically, said maybe it was Hazel, to which I agreed and tried to forget about it. Minutes pass, and I hear her obsessing over me, and Alistair does what he can to keep me calm, saying that she's fantasizing about me, and eventually, sure enough, I heard Hazel say, "Ethan, I'm trying to turn you on. Do you know who this is?" Alistair let out a "God! She really is fantasizing about you. You got all three. Don't say anything to her." And I didn't. Before departing completely, she assured herself that I knew who it was and is, because she knew that I knew she was thinking about me, as they all do continuously. She did not get pregnant. Q lamented, commenting on what a difficult life I was living, to which I assured with all the passion of truth and beauty that I will not be suffering much longer, to which I am assured with all the passion of truth and beauty that I will not be suffering much longer. I want to trust Alistair as my father, like I always have. All of them, Clay. What a mountain in my mind. I have a hard time believing any of them are outright evil, though Willow has proven the negation true, and she is not good. I question everything, and yes, it is true, I made it difficult when Alistair made it easy, and I am assured that I am forgiven and loved, and that they are all moved by my devotion and heartbroken over it all as I am. He, Alistair, knows that Willow will come around, and that of course no one else can play this role, but Willow fucked everything up. And so now I have to go play Hamlet to put something between the dead elephant between us, space, and the play. Just for these few months to settle down. And then I'll come back when she really is a bloated, pregnant whore guppy, hauling her abomination awkwardly, when the situation, as well as myself, have calmed down. And they all assure me it is the most epic, badass idea in the history of show business, which will be our finest hours, a passing of the torch of a kind. Hopefully it is the first of a multitude of excellent hours, as with Clam and Alistair, who I have no doubt has crammed just as many memorable moments in this priceless, iconic filmography, whose final hurrah has shifted so many times it inspires writing this book, and brings together the primary halves of the creative half of my brain, music and movies, by the triangle, equilateral or otherwise, Alistair, Clam, and myself. I'm told to take a break, that I earned it. And Alistair once again is as emotional as he continues observing my prodigious output. I catch the bus again in half an hour. I'll stop there. Right? So it's a novelization of my experiences on the psychic frontier with Quentin Tarantino. Right? There is no daughter. Right? There's no. Right? Is it all a sick intellectual exercise with Quentin? Right? Is Daniela involved? Right? Did he marry her for a reason? Right? Anyone can do these things. Right? This isn't, right? I suspect he has two women in his life, and perhaps one young man like my age, maybe a little younger, right? In his life. Right? And that they've all been, right? So the two women, right? I think that they are the ones that, right? But it could all be him, right? Perhaps he gets something out of it, right? For sure on his birthday, right? Right? We're both right there, right? All the time, right? Right? But I suspect, right? I suspect he has two women involved, his wife and another one. Badass cinema, right? He took a picture with a girl, the young girl, right? And she came out. She's mentioned in the novel, right? She came out while I was waiting in line for Jackie Brown, right? Gold skin, great legs. Right? So fine. Right? Right? So as far as the writing, right, there is no, right? Trey never cared about Hamlet. Right? Got me good, humiliated me good. And I should have known, because he did the same thing with the Discovery Institute. Right? And the friend that I met at Mondegreen, her name is Hannah. Her name is Anna in the book. Right? That they did the same thing. Right? So in that way, right? But again, this is about trust. This is about me, right? Me feeling bad. Me saying, oh, I wanted to give him what he wanted, in my heart. In my heart, right? But he didn't, right? It wasn't through the heart, right? Like this was like a mind thing, right? Because if he was operating in his heart space, right? He would have taken my letter, right? Right? That it's easy, right? That it's right that when he signed my book, he would have dumped it in my lap. And then, right, like my point in saying that is that for all that he tells everyone that I blew it, right? That in not saying, do you have a question, right? He blew it, right? That's my point. That he left it up to his bullshit mind prowess. Right? Right? When all he had to do was say, "Got any questions?" And then when I went, gosh, I don't know. Let me get back to you on that. He could have went, there it is. You see, I gave him the shot. Right? And then he would have been directing from the heart. Right? And it would have been meaningful. And I would have given him what he wanted. Of course. My mind? No, that's not why I wrote you. Right? That's not, no. Right? And so he got what he wanted, right? He got what he wanted, but he didn't, right? Because it's a two-way street, right? And this is where my anxiety comes from, right? This is why I say, he's going to send people to kill me, right? Because he didn't do this, right? He didn't create this pathological diseased psychic condition of clairvoyance between the two of us and expect it to persist for 20 years. That's sick. That's right. Like that's not healthy for either of us psychologically. That's not healthy for him psychologically. And no matter what he tells people, right, when he puts his monkey suit on, right, the reality, right, the cold reality is that I am right. That it is, right, that this is no way to spend the last 15 years of your life where I can say, "Hey, Quentin, how's it going?" And boom, he hears it. Every single time. That's where we're at, right? And it's the same with me. It's the same with me, with Daniela, with that other girl, right? With this, I don't know if there's another guy. It could just be all Quentin, right? But he's got his coven, right? He came up with that title specifically, right? No dudes allowed, right? And they're both fine, so fine. I have no doubt, right? When they put that magic on you, right? Right? Tantric sexuality, right? It's all there at the beginning of that novel, right? Right? And I could say so much more about it, but I've been going for 37 minutes. So I'll leave you with Hamlet because I mentioned Hamlet in the reading. The pages are good. I like those pages a lot, but again, it's a dangerous psychology, right? Now I'm in the pinnacle of the Rhapsody, right? And so when he gave me that subtext, that was nice. I remember. Right? See what's good in your life. Know that life is not an accident. Uplift your soul to God. Oh, all you host of heaven, O earth. What else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fire. Hold my heart. And you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee. Aye, thou poor ghost, whiles memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all precious past that youth and observation copied there. And thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven. Oh, most pernicious woman. Oh, villain. Villain, smiling, damned villain. My tables, meet it is, I set it down that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word, it is. Adieu. Adieu.